It's race day. Welcome, race fans, to a showcase of driving perfection. My name's Webbo, and let's get down trackside. Hold on tight, we're gonna go for it. Boom, that's how it's done. Whoa, easy. Surely not all the way around the outside. Oh yeah, we're cooking now. Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. This is a roller coaster of emotions. The drivers are pushing their machines to the limit and beyond. Woo, it doesn't get any better than that. We wait for the lights, the revs build, and so does the excitement. And it's drop the clutch and go, go, go! Okay, driver, it's hammer time. This driver is an artist, and the racetrack is their canvas. Did you see that? Did you see that? Wow! Let's watch it again. Ooh, hopefully they'll get away with that one. What a great start, and it looks like we can build on this now and really make a good race of it. There's the fastest lap, folks. No mercy on the menu today. Yeah, sideways is rarely ever faster, but you do get style points. And we roll the safety car dice. Leave them alone. They know what they're doing. Oh no, someone's gone bowling into turn one. What a shocker. Moving left, jinking right, keep them guessing. Lawn mowing as a side gig. And we go down the inside, Danny Rick style. We're on the edge of our seats here, folks. The racers are pushing their limits, risking it all for that coveted first place position and the all-important win. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The two cars ahead are fighting with each other. It's slowing them down. And through we go! Welcome, race fans, back to SVR. My name is Webbo. Excuse me, it's not SVR. Welcome back, race fans, to... I've just been sorting out someone else's league. My huge apologies. Welcome back, race fans, to Black Flag Racing. My name is Webbo, here to join you today for the penultimate round of our Premier Division. It's great to be here with you all at an all-new track for me. The Circuito Ricardo Tomo here at Valencia in Spain. Let's have a quick look at qualifying and how things have finished here. Plums has the fastest lap in qualifying ahead of Awesome Gumball and Bubbling Panda. Just 1/10 of a second separating Plums and Awesome Gumball. We have Bubbling Panda and Nate in third and fourth position, and then still within a second over a very long circuit is Beth Barron and Rico. Bobcat Goalie, the best of the rest, pretty much here in P7 with Debuthi, Darkness Gene, Grandpa Exposure, Ely Rain, and Camzilla all pretty close behind. Still some praising incredibly close, 35 thousandths of a second away from 12th place Camzilla. Got King is in 14th. Larry is out there in 15th place, although I believe has hardly ever tackled this circuit today and has a litany of excuses for his racing today, as far as I'm aware anyway. Y-Weight leads the GT4 field. There is no GT John today. John is AWOL, unfortunately. But Hellcat is in second place. Y-Weight was working the wheel very hard in practice to get a good result here for the GT4s. And we've got Chaotica and D-Bard also right there, looking forward to a 19-car field, which is actually, to be honest, quite a good going for this point in a long racing season, with lots of other things happening throughout the course of the season as well. Here are the standings then for Premier GT3, and I won't go through everybody on here, but you can see with the drop scores that the gap between the championship is just 2 points separating the top 3 drivers. Dog Eater and Awesome Gumball on equal on 71 points. Chug, who has had 2 DNFs and 1 very low score by his high standards, sits on 64 and is still very close. So a 4-way battle as we close out our season is going to be absolutely incredible. Rico and Bubbling Panda also locked in battle with Mojo for that P5 position. And then when you've got Nate and our first winner of the season, DJ Jacques, or Chandler, I believe you guys know him. Debuthy and Darkness Gene are equal on points with the drop in total anyway. And then it is a very, very close run thing between the next series of drivers. Let's have a quick look then at the rest of the standings. GT John has already been won and distanced by double the points of the rest of the GT4 field. Mountain Ranger currently sitting second place on a drop score ahead of Chaotica, Notsium, Nurkrap, Hellcat, Stubbly Squid, not Bubbly Squid. And Bubbly Squid would be a great team name for the Enduro for Panda and Squid to take part in. I'm just going to throw that one out there right now. And Hellcat is there with him. Preston likewise. We don't see much from Y-Weight because he's a reserve. Team Running on Empty head the field with the drop scores taken into account ahead of the Shockers and Malakas, and then Black Swan, Go Dogs and CM Speed. High Gear Hustlers also approaching triple figures with Oni Gramps, Full Send Dependence and Speed Syndicate as well, making out a terrific field here for this fantastic series that we've got for you. The drivers are out there and ready to get racing for their respective formation laps already. They are circulating round the Ricardo Tomo Valencia circuit, and we will get used to all the turn names and everything as we continue throughout the course of today's race. I'm going to be getting familiar with it just the same as everybody else. But the 96 is ahead, plums ahead of Awesome Gumball. Let's hope that our front runners can at least get away here comfortably, and we don't have any early race disconnections. Bubbling Panda's right there in the Lexus. This is a pretty decently long straight for the start-finish straight here. It's also downhill. I think that will favour the Lexus over the McLaren and the Aston Martin ahead of him. He's got Nate just behind him as well. GG to Nate for a great qualifying position there. Got a strange red stripe across his windshield there. I've not seen that before on Panda's car. What else is going on? Well, the drivers are getting ready. The Lexus of Rico, the Swiss flag blue and black Lexus is right there, and then we've got behind it, well, lots of drivers just condensing. They've been given the instruction to condense now. Let's get ourselves back towards the front and sharp end of the grid. It's a lot of green and black. We do need to fix that for next season, but the drivers are ready as they come out of the final corner. Curva Adrian Campos, the the late director and founder of Campos Racing that has launched so many careers. Well, this is supposed to be a really good camera angle, but actually it's really not very good at all. This is much better as we get ready to go racing for 1 hour with a mandatory pit stop. 1 litre of fuel must be given, and it's drop the clutch, and it's go, and Plums has the inside line. A good launch, but the McLarens are already getting into a good position on the outside, but Publin Panda looks like he's got himself up into P3, and that is very wide from both McLarens doing exactly the same thing on the cold tyres. Awesome Gumball is holding on to second place just about, but I think that Buff Barron is going to be launching a move down the inside, and he does indeed through the first sector. Beth Barron up into essentially P4 here, and then it's left to Rico and Nate to continue the fight down there in P5 and P6. What else is going down? I haven't seen any major drama from the rest of the field at this stage as we move all the way back to the GT4 field. Just 4 cars in the GT4 field, and they are away, but safely and sound. There's a Lexus in the mix there with Still Some Praising, who's clearly had some difficulties getting away from the line. So Still Some Praising was the big loser then out of that run, and Wyway will be hoping that he takes his time to get away from this one. Hellcat also with a problem there, I think stuck in the pit lane for his start. As we go back to the helicopter camera, we try to go back to helicopter camera. Here we are with the lights on as well here. So very much enjoying this atmospheric settings as we close out the end of lap lap 1 or 2. I think it's lap 1 as they go through then and over the line, and Awesome Gumball ahead of Bubbling Panda by not very much, with Plums out there in the outright lead. And Plums, I wonder whether he will be taking tyres today or not. They're way over track limits as per the painted white line, but they're going for it nonetheless, and that is fantastic that they've got that latitude out there, and it's wonderful to have everybody with us. I will do proper welcomes because I've not even welcomed everybody to the stream yet and said hi because we are in the thick of it. Bobcat Goalie out there, Hunter having a bit of difficulty, I think, but not as much as his McLaren stablemate there, Nate, who's dropped down into P8, and Nate is very often in P8, and it rhymes and it's true, but it's Grandpa Exposure in 7th, Rico in 6th position, Bobcat Goalie, Hunter ahead of them as well, and then we'll see if we've got anybody fighting any particular battles at the moment. Here is Camzilla in the magenta Ferrari, following the blue, white and black Got King McLaren. I think that's the only Gramps colour scheme. Nismo says whoever doesn't take tyres here is going to have a real bad time. We will wait and see, because Plums does tend to like that strat for sure. Debuthi is in 11th, and then you've got Wyway battling hard. We've got Elite Rain, who's must assume has been off the circuit. Elite Rain, he's got a scarred and scratched up McLaren there in the black and green. Elite Rain then down in 12th position. Still Sun Praising has still not managed to get by the entire GT4 field, and unfortunately Dadman himself, El Capitano Larry, is stuck there in the 77 behind his Lexus manufacturer sister car of Still Sun Praising. So a difficult start here as they both come by. I'm sure that Larry will be giving a team instruction out there to his Malacca GT4 reserve driver Wyweight to let him by and make sure that he can get by. But there are the two Malaccas then, a GT4 and a GT3 in that order. Wyweight rocking that 63 number as Chaotica, also wearing black and green, has been passed by Darkness Gene. There, the 777 rather than Larry's 777, the 77 car. This then is the battle, though, at the head of the field. This is... Oh, that's a big problem then, as there's a contact between the 301, and that is Awesome Gumball. Been punted slightly there by Plums, just an inadvertent issue, but Panda goes through, both of them, straight out there into the lead of the race. Then Panda, obviously, we'd had a problem for Awesome Gumball earlier, and Plums had dropped back, but contact resulting in a through goes Panda situation, which is obviously very, very welcome for our furry friend. Here is the look down the pit straight here. That's my car sitting in the pit lane, as we've also got some good racing action between Bobcat goalie. That's Hunter defending from Ruben. Rico going right round the outside of that turn one. It's a difficult one to make it stick, but round Curva Aspar he goes, and he tucks back in through the Doohan turn two. And they're still side by side, and it's fantastic racing between the two of them. Hunter giving enough space on the inside line, and that was a great move then from Rico, moving up in the order. Fantastic stuff. So it's great to see everybody with us. That one Sim Race is here. So is Going Grace, who also tuned into my earlier driving stream. We've got Crit and Sergeant, Ghost Stroke, and Elite Rain have all stopped by to say hello. If you haven't stopped by yet and said hello, do be part of today's stream. Point out anything you want to talk about, and Super Chat is open, as you can see from today's chat goal. But it's Bobcat goalie in P6, Grandpa Exposure out there in P5, just closing in. Then it's a 3-4 way battle now with the P8 Nate in the 189 McLaren. Right on the back of this group as well, so it's great to see everybody pushing incredibly hard. Let's go back to our leaders though and see what's going down. There's Panda in front of Gumball, in front of Plums, and then Beth Barron is right on this one as well. Beth Barron reserving in, I think, from Prospect, usually a front runner in Prospect, and here he is in the 64 Aston Martin. Needs to do a job here for Plums, his teammate, or I hope is his teammate. They're in a very similar car colours as they come through, but Plums very much needing to get back on top here if he's going to make that normal strategy of not taking tyres. Ghost Stroke saying you can do it without. He has faith. good to hear. We only took tyres once in 2 hours here, says that one Sim Racer. So now this is a question I've got for you. My understanding is that the tyres are scaled depending on the race length. And my understanding is that the longer the race, the longer the tyres last. And the tyres, roughly speaking, last at full pelt something in the region of I would say 80% of any given race distance that you have selected. Now, I could be completely wrong with that, but I believe that if the race is an hour, the tyres, it's still the same tyre saving job as it is for a 2, 4, 6, 8 hour race. But I'm sure you will correct me. There are some very threatening looking clouds out there above the Valencia circuit. That may cause a problem for us later. Rico's really locked in, and he's gapped the group behind here. What a fantastic drive from Rico. Since he's cleared a couple of cars, he's got Bobcat goalie now 2.5 seconds behind, and it looks like there's a little bit of a Hunter train starting up here. Hunter a little bit wide coming out of that final curve as well. So he is coming through Campos and out down the start-finish straight. Going Grayson, that would explain why I always spin in the last 20% of a race. Like I say, that's just my best understanding of the situation. I've been wrong many times before, especially about ACC. So you let me know what you think. But that's my given explanation. It is always possible to make a long stint work, but it is problematic towards the end of a stint if you haven't done the work earlier on. And I'm talking as someone who doesn't do the work very well at all. Nate is working hard though. He's working that wheel. He's got himself nicely ahead of Grandpa Exposure. It's absolutely brilliant to see. You've got Grandpa Exposure with a massive tank slapper coming on behind, and off we go, the 211. He was struggling to keep up. Nate's got by and then sucked into the dirty air there. Grandpa Exposure dropping back, unfortunately crinkling up that very pretty Only Gramps livery, and straight into the barrier. Nose first, in we go. And Grandpa Exposure dropping down to P10, and he's going to have a long wait then for the pit window to open in 11 minutes time, and that is going to be a big issue for him as we progress through the race. Debooty then getting a free place there up to P9. Camzilla's gapped him, and then we're back to that battle between Nate and Bobcat goalie that we were trying to follow, and then suddenly saw a car jackknifing in the rear view mirror. You can see the distances between I think that is P4, 5, 6 in that run. And Nate now up to P7, and we've got the lights on, and we're looking at the sky, and we're feeling a little bit nervous out there. How does it look on board here with Nate? Well, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Pointing in this compass direction, at least, through the first sector here. A sequence of 3 consecutive left-handers before you get to turn right twice, and then you're into the Curva Nieto, into the second sector of the raceway. This is it right now, and a little short shoot coming through on the west side of the circuit before a Curva Afición, and then getting the braking action done. Already up on our time there on the way in. We're very late onto the brakes, and then a little bit of a Mickey Mouse infield section here before we head into that important next short shoot before we head into Curva Champiheros, and that's this right-hander that leads into the long looping left that's going to punish that front right tyre, something chronic, especially on the front-engined cars. That's really going to start to hurt, but it's tricky braking down into Curva Campos, the final corner, and then back out again we go onto the start-finish straight. And a 134.3 best, about 9/10 shy of his absolute best there from Nate. So great sequence there from him. Rico in P5. That's Beth Barron into P4, but he's been dropped by the top 3. Looks like Awesome Gumball has found a way by Bubbling Panda as well. And as they move through, I think that might have been, who was that? I thought that was possibly Chaotica, who's just been passed, and they're catching another GT4 then. That is debarred. And Panda gets by as well, so it's Awesome Gumball in P1, Bubbling Panda in P2, Plums having dropped back 2.2 seconds from P2, out in 3rd position, and the lights ablaze here, and the reflections coming off the asphalt as well, just making the drivers give due consideration to the grip levels as they drop. I think we are going through a sunset rather than a... No, I'm completely wrong. It is a sunrise. It's 7:16 a.m. in Sim. So I should know that. I should be able to look out of the commentary booth window and see exactly what's going on. But that time in the morning, there's no way on earth I would have had my my breakfast here at Circuit Ricardo Tomo in Valencia, Spain. Blue flags already, and the race is only 8 laps long, 8 laps old. Here comes Beth Barron in the Sister 64 to Plums in P3, and suddenly the gap starting to open out slightly. This is Rico just taking debarred there in the GT4, so Rico in P5 has lapped 2 of our GT4 cars. I think Chaotica's further back than this, in fact, and there's Bobcat Goalie with Nate, his shadow at this stage of the race. Both drivers in identical McLarens, with those optional light arrays on the front as well, and very similar colour schemes, although I think different enough to be different teams potentially. Nate in P7. We've got Nate's dad, Camzilla, in P8, and he'll enjoy catching a glimpse of his son on these short straights and on the main start-finish straight. Debuthi's in 9th place currently, and he's just ahead of Grandpa Exposure. He's picked up the pace then since that crunch into the barriers. And are we going to see a move then from Grandpa Exposure? Down we go. We've just about got enough of the car on the inside to claim the space, and that was well managed from both drivers. That's great endurance overtake there, as they're being patient with each other and just tiptoeing around. It's very early days. We're only not even 1/4 of race distance, so it's way too early to be fighting tooth and nail with your competitors. Still some praising. I'm going to give some praise to Still Some Praising, because he was behind the GT4s at the start of the race, and here he is up to P11 already in the 18. Even though he's got a slightly dented front of his Lexus RCF, There he is in P11. That's a really good pickup. Elite Rain in 12th position as well. Gotking in 13th. Larry, you've got to say, struggling a little bit, but struggling with some issues back home where he is. So it's really good to have him racing nonetheless, and he'll try and pick up some points. I know the last race wasn't particularly great for him either, but as we know, Larry does like to split his time among 17 different simulations, so he hardly commits to ACC in the way that perhaps you would need to compete at the front end of our Premier Division. Hi to Nathan in chat and to Sakura Kazuha Nakamura. We've also got Sergeant Skull, and Larry is spinning and into the barrier, and he's off at the Curva Doohan, named after Mick Doohan, the great motorcycle champion. And unfortunately, that is Larry into the barrier, and we'll see if he picks it back up again and manages to get going. He gets back to the pits, in fact. Lots of work to do. Sergeant Skull saying VR mode for commentary. Well, I can't engage VR mode, unfortunately, but the nearest I can come is to use the helmet cam. That's what I do when I'm driving, because I'm a big VR fan. This is my favourite driving position. You can see you've got the bottom of the helmet in the view here. You can actually turn into the corners, and it's very, very cool. Going Gray says, "Rip Larry's Lexus." Thanks for that. He'll really appreciate that. But I appreciate the gift there. Thank you so much, Grace. As Wyweight gets passed, but by a GT3. Wyweight still in the lead of this race in the GT4 category. Some 10.6 seconds ahead, and you can feel the laziness of the GT4 here, but the great head movement in ACC. I really, really like it. I dig it. I think it really works very, very nice. Nismo says his Lexus was like, ooh, a barrier. He had to go speak to Barry R. VR booth. You can look around your monitors, Delta, the sun. It would be nice. Yes, absolutely. I see what you mean. Yes, we definitely need that in our lives. Yes, triple monitor, so we can track cars going right to left. I don't know if anybody's actually done VR spectator mode in GT7, but that would be very, very similar. You stand by the side of the track and you can kind of track the cars coming from one side to the other and hear the sound, and it's all kinds of great. Plums is in P3. Bubbling Panda is in second place, and his gap in front to Awesome Gumball is just 0.6 of a second, and that was a fantastic lap from Panda. A 32.5, his best a 32.4, and compare that to Plum's 32 as well. So we've got Panda and Awesome Gumball really, really making this a great race for us, which we like to see out in front. So often you find one driver just really hooking up his performance, and it's really, really cool to see everybody here really fighting hard. And I think most everybody has got someone to fight with right now. At the moment, we've got Plums out there in the 96 down in third place, 3.2 seconds off the back of this battle. Gumball just went a little bit wide, and that has brought Bubbling Panda ever closer. Panda is going to have a really, really good run, I think. What I'm hoping for is to find the tail cam here, and I think I can't select it on this run, unfortunately, on my keyboard. But the tail cam is very, very fun indeed as well. Bubbling Panda then 0.2 of a second only, directly behind Awesome Gumball. Here we go. Surely into the Adrian Campos corner, the final corner here at Circuit Ricardo Tomo. And then the Lexus Power should help him here to close right in on the approach into Curva Aspar, and potentially down into the biggest stop, which is Curva Doohan, turn 2. Aspar is upon us. Looks like the aerodynamic performance of the McLaren just keeping Awesome Gumball just slightly out of sight from a striking distance from Bubbling Panda. But you know that Panda's going to be putting that pressure on. And you know how infrequently Panda makes a mistake, and he'll be following hard and close behind. Don't forget, of course, that for the first time this season we will be here on consecutive weeks. So same time, same place next Saturday for the finale, which will be held at Donington Park, a place I have actually had the pleasure of commentating at the real track as well. So I can tell you all about that on next week's race. But that will be the finale, and I think we will still have plenty to fight for. Even though Chuck isn't here to defend his position in the championship, I think he will come back all guns blazing. As things stand, though, Plums unable to really grasp this race opportunity with both hands. He's stuck out in P3 and he hasn't been able to pick up the pace. I wonder if he took fuel, lots of fuel at the start, and he is going to try and preserve the tyres throughout the course of the race. That's his usual default move. The pit window will be open momentarily. I think once the leaders pass the start-finish line is perhaps when that happens. But look out for that on the right-hand side of the screen. We're into the right zone for the pit window to be open. Larry is still in the pits, unfortunately, and I wonder if Larry, the repairs are just taking an awful long time, or he's decided that this race is not going to be the way to go. And I know that he, as I say, has some stuff he's dealing with right now. So I think that he may have decided just to sit in the pits, not disconnect and risk anybody else's race. But there's certainly some pretty big contact into the barrier. If this is the first time that you're with us and you joined just after the stream and race started, this is a one mandatory pit stop race for the duration of 1 hour. The pit lane window is open at 40 minutes to go and it closes at 20 minutes to go. The only requirement here at Black Flag Racing is that you've refueled by 1 litre, which can take about 8 seconds maximum from stationary in the pit lane. So you can fill up with fuel. You can be slow all race long. Beth Barron with a drive-through. That's pretty surprising for me. Beth Barron has already picked up a drive-through with those track limit warnings. That's the 4th track limit warning that you receive, a drive-through penalty. So 1 litre of fuel is all that you need to take, but you can opt to either repair damage, put half a tank of fuel in, change tyres. All of those things add time to your pit stop. So it's a really delicate balancing act. And Plums has made videos in the past telling us how his strategy does or does not work. Into the pit lane then comes Beth Barron. That's the drive-through being served, I believe. Did I miss the pit lane open window announcement, chat? Please let me know if I did, because it seems like it should be open already. But no pit stop, no mandatory pit stop has actually been selected by the race organizer today. We will have to hope that everybody goes on their honour here. Nismo saying the brutal track limits here. Well, it's one of those circuits designed for motorcycles and for track days, and that means that you have these long, large asphalt runoffs, large distances out to the barriers, and characteristically pretty low curbing as well. So yeah, pit lane was not set. Drivers are still expected to behave as usual, says Grays. So Ghost Drake says they'll check after race for proper pit stop requirements. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's good info there. But yeah, that's why track limits can be such a pain at tracks like this, and maybe Paul Ricard and other motorcycle suitable tracks. So it's something you really do have to be very, very careful of throughout the course of endurance racing. Nate in 5th, Bobcat Goalie in 6th. They haven't made their pit stops yet. Up ahead, you've got Rico on his own here coming through that final corner. And we've got a couple of cars in the pit lane as we speak. That's the number 201 of Got King, who has gone in and come back out again. Plums and Panda. And also Awesome Gumball. Yet to make those pit stops, of course, and they'll do their absolute best here. Drivers better be careful. Going Grays is in here with his clipboard and pen, says Nismo. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure he's right on it. I was actually going to ask Grays while you're here. I know we've had some races in the past where you've been able to give us live timing. I would love that, but I'm also wondering if that means we have live data output where we could build some sort of overlay that would work better than our current overlay. Let's just have a quick check. This is the best I can give you for the overlay. Awesome Gumball ahead of Panda, Plums, Rico, Nate, Bobcat Goalie, Camzilla, Beth Baron Boothie, and Grandpa Exposure, your top 10 in GT3. And then in your GT4, you've got Y-Weight, Hellcat, and Chaotica ahead of D-Bard. Larry still, I believe, in the pit lane. Let's have a check. No, Larry's come back out, so it looks like a much cleaner. Maybe he stayed in the pits to serve his pit stop during the pit window, and he's just going to try and get some experience here. I know he said he hadn't taken part in this circuit at a race before, had driven any laps before today, and I presume that's because it's not in iRacing. As Awesome Gumball makes his pit stop in from the lead of the race. And that promotes Bubbling Panda and Plums back up to first and second positions. Let's have a look. There is Plums, the 96, some 1.7 seconds away from Panda. Plums getting quicker at this stage of the race and starting to reel in Panda. That's pretty interesting to me that he's getting to that part. We're riding on board with Plums right now as we run through here. Panda with the overcut, says Kyle. Quite possibly, and I would imagine Plums is planning exactly the same thing, but it's a punishing circuit, and our chat was divided earlier, our viewership, as to whether it was something that was achievable or not. 34 minutes 20 remain of the hour. Just a reminder, while we go out here, we'll just check in. So I read out these before, but we've got Darkness Gene, Got King, Y-Weight, out there in 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, respectively. Still some praising I hadn't mentioned, and at the back Larry at this stage, if you don't count me. Your fastest lap with Awesome Gumball right now as well. So we've got Plums in P2, chasing down 2.1 seconds, losing a little bit of time at this stage, and we've got King in the mix around this run as well. So Rico is 11, nearly 12 seconds away from P2, but there are drivers who have pitted in front of him and are now behind him for a while. Kyle saying, tried it for the first time Tuesday. I was going to, but I couldn't make it that day. I don't mind the track, but it's deceptively tricky, I would imagine. And there is a giant mural of Valentino Rossi on the side of the building, just underlining the fact that this is a motorbike racetrack, as many in Spain have always been. D-Bard in the Ginetta. We don't see much of the Ginetta, and we've not seen this this livery before. For the Brits among you who were raised on the Beano comic, I'm going to say this evokes Roger the Dodger. I'm sure most of you will have no idea who I'm talking about, but you can Google it as Rico and Nate fly by on the way through. And that's Bobcat Goalie as well, with a somewhat scuffed up, but still operating very, very well indeed. Very low camber, a lot like Paul Ricard says, going great. So very, very, very flat, and hopefully not too dull. The 22 then, Bobcat Goalie closing in on the 189 of Nate, as they continue through in P4 and P5, having not made their pit stop. That one's in the racer says, Y-Weight is killing it in that Camaro. Well, we don't have Jondola here to really give a great comparison. But yes, Y-Weight was absolutely pushing this week in practice. That was mighty close for our racers there as Bobcat Goalie and closes in on Nate. Nate ran a little bit wide, possibly his tyres going, and there is that looked like team maneuver potentially. Let me know what you think. But down into the final section and final turn of the racetrack, looks like Nate releasing Bobcat Goalie there. That's a little bit of formation flying from the team. So they go through, and that is where we sit then with our team standings. So Bobcat Goalie through, Nate down in P5 now. Like I say, hasn't made his pit stop. There is Awesome Gumball, who is perhaps the first of the pitted drivers, and he is potentially now on the push here to try and make the undercut work, whereas the drivers in front of him who were right there earlier on. Carl saying, did he helicopter that Camaro in this race? Yeah, it's a little bit fish out of water, isn't it, on the European circuit? I don't think it's part of the ELMS or the GT World Challenge as far as I'm aware, but maybe they are racing the Camaro, or maybe did back in 2018, 2019 when the game was produced. But yes, definitely a rare sight. Camzilla in P7. I'm guessing from his position on track he has not pitted either. I'm pretty sure Beth Barron has. Beth Barron there running a different strategy to his teammate Plums. I would imagine here at least stopping earlier than his teammate, and he'll be important later on. We'll see where Plums comes out, and whether Plums comes out in front of Beth Barron. Does Beth Barron have to play rear gunner, or does he come out behind and Beth Barron helps him along the straight with the toe and helps him preserve those tyres? It's going to be really fascinating later on once we see all the GT3 field having pitted. Let's have a look at the GT4 field then. Wait, I imagine, has pitted and is now just 1.9 seconds away from debarred. So that is the way we are. Does Beth Barron still need to pit? He had a drive-through. Yes, because he still needs to put 1 litre of fuel in. That's to stop the drive-through counting as a pit stop, as far as I'm aware, or even a stop and go. Because you've got to put that 1 litre in, it's not one trip through the pits. So it is. It does count, Kyle. I'm sure admin, I'm sure Grays will correct me if I'm wrong, but that is my understanding. That yeah, absolutely, they do need to still make that pit stop. But there's just talking about Wait then for a minute, as he hasn't used this car very often. Maybe only once or twice before in the Premier Division. Don't forget, Wait runs the Lexus GT3 in Prospect with me, although. That's a very loose the word with is doing a lot of lifting in that sentence. He's miles ahead of me. But yes, former Lacquer Motorsport, Wait driving the GT3, and actually came within a couple of positions of second place in the championship there for Prospect at our incredibly dramatic Monza monsoon that we finished the season on. Debarred then behind him, but Bubbling Panda going on by. Looks like Bubbling Panda hanging out there and waiting for his pit stop for a good opportunity. Plum's still with him, and we'll see when they decide to go in. Carl saying in our GT4 series race, Simracing was quite the menace with the Camaro. I am awful, actually. I have literally only driven ever the Lexus and the Jaguar. And the Jaguar only for the very small amount of time in career mode. So I have no experience on the other cars, and I really need to fix that in the off season. But I've been lured into other sims and newer, shinier things, so I haven't been able to really commit a lot of time, or I haven't chosen to commit a lot of time to those adventures. So let me know if you can recommend a good training regimen. I'm hoping that on Saturday 20th of December I'll be doing a full day driving stream with friends in different sims. So if you do want to take part and you want to suggest some runs or some challenges, have a look on YouTube, have a look on, or connect with me on Discord, and we'll try and make sure that I'm on the right sim at the right time for everybody to join in. Wait in P14, Elite Rain in P15 at the moment, coming on through and putting a lap on here. Remember, we started with 19 or I think 18 drivers total. Let's have a quick check. We've still got 19 actual active drivers with just me there in the pits. Awesome Gumball still has the fastest lap of the race, and there is your current race standings. Still some praising. I still want to give him a shout because he has put himself in a really good position there in P13, right at the back of the GT3 and behind a couple of GT4s at the start of our race. So let's cycle through. We've got Nate here in P3. I believe Nate looking at the gaps out to the leaders. I believe Nate has now pitted as well. Awesome Gumball down in 4th place. I think has taken on either more fuel or a set of tyres where perhaps Nate hasn't. This is really going to be interesting to see. If you've got any inside information and these pit stops have already happened, let us know in the chat here today live, because if you are connected to a team chat and there's no strategic disadvantage from telling us what the situation, then we'd love to hear some inside information. We don't have a pit lane reporter, so we need to make do where possible. And if you can help us out, that is always appreciated. We love the inside info. Cam Ziller currently in P10, but he's right with his son there on track, Nate. And Cam is taking a bit of a joker course around the outside as we run through there. Lozy says PMR Miatas and 964s are great fun with a group of friends. That sounds like fun, but I haven't got PMR yet. I've just picked up LMU. I've picked up AC Evo, and I do have the ability to use iRacing, but I know we don't talk about iRacing here at Black Flag Racing. I've got ACC obviously and GT7, so I'll try and make do with several premium runs. That's Bubbling Panda, by the way, P2, coming on out of the pits, and there you can see him relative to Awesome Gumball. The gap is dropping like a stone down to 1.6 seconds. Gumball stopping much earlier here. It's 25 minutes to go of the 60. And Gumball and Panda have made their pit stops. My expectation right now is that our race leader, Plums, has not made his pit stop yet and only has 4 and 3/4 minutes left to make that pit stop. And I'm sure he will. And I'm equally fairly sure that he will not take tyres either. As they've got to navigate Hellcat there in the chunky looking AMG GT4 as he comes through, just running his own race, doesn't get in anyone's way. Excuse me a moment. Thanks to Gray's pit report. Nate took fuel only. Elite Rain took tyres. Thank you. That's awesome. Awesome info, exactly what we want to see. And here really helps us to understand the race as clearly as we possibly can. Here is Gumball, and the positions have reversed themselves for now anyway, and we're fighting with Panda. Let's join him on board, shall we? This is Awesome Gumball. You can also see what's going on in the mirror top of screen, but there it's Gumball with a great exit out of Curva Adrian Campos. But look at the speed difference then of the Lexus in a straight line. As soon as we get into 4th and 5th gears, the Lexus disappearing. Should be that Gumball will have a good run through this first corner, Curva Aspar, as we go through. And we have a look down the inside, but we are a long way back here. Well, we're shaping for it. That's a little bit dodgy, but we're going for it nonetheless. So side by side, he's trying to do the work here over multiple corners through turn 3, and then we're going to turn the other way, looking for a switchback maneuver outside to inside, but unfortunately Awesome Gumball not quite able to get the power down early enough on the switchback to get alongside. Then it's a little bit twisty and tricky, some would say Mickey Mouse on the inside of this part of the track. And then as Kyle says, this is helping Plums, the two of them fighting. Absolutely. You are very accurate there. Absolutely. Look at that great exit though this time, and it's through from Awesome Gumball. Great maneuvers and very good patience over the course of 2 sectors. Panda way out wide, getting passed by Cam Ziller there for a moment, as we'll try and get a wider view of the action. There is Panda, having been passed by Cam Ziller for a moment. Panda get back on it, but running out wide. I wonder, whether Bubbling Panda is suffering with the tyres a little bit right now, and he did not take tyres. Remember, he had a bit of an overlap there, an overcut from his rival Awesome Gumball. It's going to be a while before I think Larry's back in the pits, or taking his actual pit stop. He is. Larry's back in the pits there and dropping down through the order. So we've got Awesome Gumball. Let's have a quick look at our standings there. I can't actually see the gaps. It's 3 seconds Plums to Gumball. So that's the difference at the moment. Plums, I'm almost certain then has made a pit stop. I can't imagine. Yeah, no, actually that's incorrect. So he's 16.5 seconds ahead of just Elite Rain. Make that something in the region of... That's a big distance. That's 36, 37 seconds ahead of Awesome Gumball at this stage. And that's very wide. Can he catch it? Catch it in the 422 Elite Rain. And he does catch it very nicely indeed. So props to him. That was a tough one as he goes through. So Plums finally then makes a pit stop, and we'll just watch with Plums because we need to know how long he sits in the pit lane. Get your stopwatches out or your stopwatch app on your phone and let me know how long he stays stationary for. It's a long pit lane. It's a long start-finish straight as well. Lots and lots of garages for huge multi-class fields as he comes in behind the two Lexi of myself and Larry here, and then he will make his stop. And we'll see how long he is stationary for. It may just be 1 litre of fuel. The car should jack up, but the animation may not work. How long are we? That is not tyres. Surely that's the sort of 8-9 second minimum, as far as I'm aware. And it's going to be really important then to see where does Plums come out. Well, Bubbling Panda and Plums have gone by. Awesome Gumball has gone by Plums. Bubbling Panda has tucked in behind them. So as things were before, it's McLaren, Aston, Lexus at the head of our GT3 field. Awesome Gumball just ahead, and he stopped almost at the exact opposite end of the pit window, which is closing in 0 seconds time. The pit lane window should have closed now. Plums in P2, Panda in P3, and it's still mighty close between all of them as Gumball stopping very early, performing a huge undercut, and Plums not taking tyres as per usual, whereas Awesome Gumball's tyres are probably only 20 minutes old at this stage. That's Grandpa Exposure out in P10, just chasing down Panda here, and I think there may be a slight difference in the car condition or tyre condition of the two cars right now as well, as Grandpa Exposure in the middle of the circuit, where the Lexus will be feeling the lack of grip and the lack of balance in comparison to the McLaren most, struggling to stay ahead here at this stage, and Simracer saying that was Simracer and Kyle saying that was probably one of the best passes they've seen so far in the league. It was great to see. So Awesome Gumball ahead of Plums, ahead of Panda as they pass the pit lane, and that is your order at this stage. Let's go through to find our GT4 racers. There's DeBard running in P18 at this stage. Just running through there is Y-Weight still leading. I'll just double check that one. Y-Weight still leading the GT4 field, who are all in a line now, thankfully. Y-Weight, Hellcat, Chaotic, and DeBard, your current gaps then. But it is all continually all about our fight here. I'm just going through our camera options. It's not very useful, so let's go out wide again as we'll run through and try and find our leaders, because they are the closest drivers together, within 4 seconds of each other. All three of our key runners here in the championship and key runners in the GT3 race. At the moment though, you can see Bubbling Panda has released Grandpa Exposure because he was getting hassled and harried from behind there, and he didn't want the distraction, so he's allowed Grandpa Exposure back through. What is going on with Bubbling Panda's pace? Does he feel like he cannot hold off a new tyre shod McLaren? Because Plums is probably in the similar situation to Panda, whereas Gumball, we believe at least, did take those tyres and has managed to get that pace delta. There is your P1, P2, P10 and P3 in a line with Camzilla not far behind as well. But Awesome Gumball leading our race, 17 minutes to go. But still, any tiny mistake at this circuit and you're spinning off. We've already seen drivers with damage or a little bit of inattentiveness passing GT4 runners, and you've got problems. The marble's looking a little bit like moving ants at the moment here on our console screens, unfortunately. But Plums 2.6 seconds. Panda dropping back a little bit now. His pace starting to fade possibly, although he has now caught Grandpa Exposure once again. There is Camzilla in P11, so that's the gap. Grandpa Exposure will be watching that gap to the pink car behind. And we can just see in the background, because that is a race for position over P10 and P11 as we run through. So let's just continue with these guys who are really working incredibly hard to try and finish this season on a high. I have to say, Awesome Gumball looking very, very good out there right now, and in a great position to take the win. He's actually extending his lead over Plums, who doubtless will still maintain that he's right all along about the no tyres option. You've seen him on We Suck at ACC podcast, and Larry insisted on calling him balls the whole time through. But Gumball, Plums, and there's Grandpa and Larry behind them. Grandpa Exposure out of position, 1 lap down from the leading pair here. So Plums has dropped time. That McLaren time management is stellar today, says Kyle. Yeah, I have to say Gumball's doing a really good job. Doesn't have to manage the tyres as much as Plums, of course, but he only needs to use the tyres for 40 minutes maximum here. Awesome Gumball. And I think he's just got his hands full here as he closes in. There's actually some interesting happenings ahead of him. That is Got King in the white McLaren, Elite Rain in the black and green McLaren, just passing Hellcat in the Mercedes AMG 164 entry. And this, I think, is not a move for position, but this is 9th place Got King trying to lap Elite Rain. But this is the stage of endurance racing that is quite a head scratcher for many, is that you can often get drivers a lap down who are actually quicker at any given point and who can disappear at a moment's notice and teleport off the track, as Elite Rain appeared to just do. Yeah, hopefully that will sort itself out, because that will make Got King incredibly nervous. He'll have to give him a very wide berth here. Should get a good slipstream, and actually that is Elite Rain being very fair, indicating to Got King that he's going to give him the space. Unfortunately, we see this so often. Got King then runs wide immediately and probably picks himself up a track limits if he stayed ahead there. He might get a little warning for that one. Awesome Gumball, 2.4 seconds ahead of this guy Plums, and they've got Hellcat and Grandpa Exposure between them and Bubbling Panda, who is in P3 and continuing in that position, but actually falling back 5.4 seconds away now from Plums. And everybody who has raced with Bubbling Panda knows how quick he is. It really puts into perspective how very quick the drivers like Plums, Gumball, and the absent Chug actually are when they can stay ahead of drivers the quality of Bubbling Panda here. And there he is in P3. Camzilla in, and I'm not just saying that because Panda is in Malacca. But we've also got on the 20th of December, I know, the BFR Nürburgring 8-hour endurance. So we won't be doing commentary or broadcast on this channel for that, because frankly I'm scared to death of Nürburgring and really hate racing. Have never committed the time to really learning it to be safe and reliable at that circuit, but that is happening on the 20th of December here at Black Flag Racing as well, and there may even be entries still open. Thanks, Carl, appreciate it. Ghost Stroke is, are you going solo at Nürburgring? I just cannot understand how it's possible. Panda, I'm almost certain will go solo, because that's how he rolls. He doesn't play nice with others, I think, is really the truth of the matter. Darkness Gene in 12th in the 777 Ferrari with the red stripe down the centre line. Or not quite the centre line, nearish to the centre. It's a little bit off centre there, isn't it? Yeah, the closest thing to the red line, team red line Ferrari that Verstappen took around the NLS circuit earlier this year. Rico is looking really good in 4th, but actually Bobcat Goalie is catching Rico here, and this is a great battle then. We've got Bobcat Goalie in 5th behind Rico, and behind him we're back to Beth Barron and Nate. So this is perhaps where the action is at this stage of proceedings. Just to remind you of where the gaps are right now. Plums 2.1 seconds away from the lead of the race, held by Awesome Gumball. We've got Rico in 4th, Bobcat Goalie, the car in focus right now on the centre of the screen in the 5th place. Beth Barron right there as well, and Nate behind him. Looks like Beth Barron might have a tyre advantage at this point. Certainly in that Aston Martin is looking very quick, uncharacteristically quick versus the McLaren here, the 22, on those twisty sections of this middle part of Ricardo Tomo Valencia circuit. As we head down into the left-hander, one of the tighter corners here at the circuit. Does look perhaps like the Aston is feeling a little bit more planted there. Going Gray saying BFR will attempt an 8-hour commentary for the endurance race as the 24 runs wide. That's Chaotica just getting out of everybody's way and taking a very, very wide run, way out wide from everybody. So Gray's, let me know if it's going to be on the Black Flag channel or on Larry's or yours. I think it will probably be Black Flag that you attempt it. But you're a braver man than I, Grays. I'm not great at super long endurance races. Tend to prefer the shorter ones. I think the longest I feel fairly comfortable is about 2.5 hours without a break. I'm sure you'll take a break though. Round the outside, perhaps for the 64. A certainly quick route to be had out there as the 22 of Bobcat Goalie defends so hard that Nate is almost taking the place around the outside of the 64 Aston Martin. And it is mighty close with under 10 minutes to go. And is this defence from Bobcat Goalie going to prove to be his undoing? Is he over-defending at this stage? Will everybody get by eventually? Or is Nate just piling on the pressure here to try and ease the pressure on Bobcat Goalie? Rico taking off in front of this group. Nate's there at the back, just waiting for his run. Simracer asking who is subbing for Chug. I think that's Beth Barron, right? Is that Artie? Are they the one and the same? Beth Barron. I don't know everybody's second, third, or fourth nomenclatures. I'm a little bit. I have to cover many different leagues, so I tend to take people's names on their on the screen at face value. I know Bobcat Goalie well enough. And I know that Larry is the dadmin. Rolling down long on the brakes there from Nate as he looks to carve an advantage. But he knows he's better on the brakes than the Aston there in the McLaren. So Nate will be sniffing out an opportunity. Another defensive shape coming from Bobcat Goalie. Is it too much? Can we go all the way around the outside? That is very, very brave there from the Aston. And if he can avoid a track limit penalty, he's done a great overtake as Nate tries to get an additional place there. A good defence eventually from Bobcat Goalie, but Beth Barron in the 64 gets himself ahead now. Is he ahead? Has he spent himself a track limit penalty for going around the outside? But that was mega brave. And fantastic work then from Beth Barron, the 64. I think reserving up here from Prospect, and everybody enjoying that one in the chat is great to see. And yeah, there's Gray's just confirming for me. Sorry, Jim, you're asking about the GT4s. Last I checked, it was why wait, but let's not cut away from three cars going together. There's the 189 of Nate getting into it with Bobcat Goalie, but frankly, I think Bobcat Goalie has been defending for so long that you could argue that the drivers are getting a little bit frustrated, and his car is just not hooked up. And unfortunately, he kind of ends up being a bit of a moving roadblock. And that's no disrespect to Hunter. I'm sure he is doing his absolute best. But I think that might be a strategic difference between the cars. Causing a little bit of frustration, a bit of a bottleneck in the field. Let's have a quick look then at the GT4s. We only have 4 cars, but Huawei is still in the lead of that by 8 seconds from Hellcat, Chaotica, and D-Bard. We'll go back to them now that this group has opened out quite considerably. There is Chaotica, the 24, and Awesome Gumball, still 2.9 seconds actually ahead of Plums. Gumball doing a tremendous job. Plums, it looks like he has refused the tyres again, and he's brought himself up from P3 up to second prior to the pit stops there. But I think it might be too much to ask now to close in with 6.5 minutes left on our race clock. Panda's in third, and I'm trying to find our GT4s. This is the 969 Roger the Dodger of D-Bard, but I think it's about to be lapped by Y-Weight. I think if we look at that, D-Bard is definitely behind Y-Weight. There is Y-Weight then in the Camaro for Team Malacca, heading the field because Jondola is not with us tonight. We have no GT John division, but the 63 of Y-Weight is hoping to take home the big trophy today, and I'm sure that'll be well deserved as well as a reserve driver. It's things you love to see from the drivers. Hellcat some 8.3 seconds further back. You can see his target up ahead, but sadly that is going to be too difficult for him, I think, as the Fanatec sponsored red and black checkered car of D-Bard, the 969, does eventually get lapped by his GT4 race leader, Y-Weight. Rico putting in an astonishing run today. Rico up in P4, very much best of the rest. And if anything happens to our podium runners, of course, he'll get some silverware for today. So that is tremendous. Yeah, we are definitely enjoying a fantastic race here today. Yeah, please, if you can, hit any of the buttons under the video, you can. The hype button might do something. I don't know. But let's hit it and see what happens. I'd also love to see any if my channel features in any of your YouTube Wrapped. I've definitely got someone for whom my channel is the most watched thing of the year so far. So I'm looking out for my top fans. So do let me know. And just a reminder then that the super chat or thanks button is open if you're watching live or post race as well. So you've got to help me through this cold, long off season of like 2 weeks essentially until we start again in January. And a big thank you to Blackfly Racing for your support here on the channel and for inviting me back for the start of the next season, season 3, starting in January 26. Still some praising is in 13th place. Nate behind him on track, but ahead of Bobcat Goalie now. So unfortunately, it looks like we missed that overtake because Nate did tag the back of Bobcat Goalie, but then hang back and allow him to take the place back. So he's obviously made the move. As we go, have a look at our race leader, Awesome Gumball, with 4 minutes on the clock. Reminder, these laps are 1 minute 32 or thereabouts. And Awesome Gumball in P1 by 3.9 seconds now. And Rico, just underlining how good a race he's having. He has the fastest lap right now. So I hope he can hold on to that in the blue and Swiss flag sponsored Lexus. That's insane from him. Oh, we've got a late race drive-through for Hunter. Unfortunately, Hunter, the latest driver to be caught out by the stewards, and he's got himself ahead of Nate, but will take a drive-through penalty, and that is going to hurt because he's been fighting hard for this P6 today, and he's got himself ahead. Now, I wonder if that was as a result of missing an apex or something, and that's cost him his final strike on track limits. So Bobcat Goalie, I feel fairly certain, will be heading in momentarily there, the 22. He'll have to serve that before the end of the race unless he wants the penalty to be essentially tripled in time additional to the finish race time. He's got a gap to P8 of 13 seconds, so it really looks like he's going to drop behind at least Debudi back there. So we'll see as they come through into that final corner. Curva, Adrian Campos, and he'll try and then get back across to the right. I imagine we'll take his drive through next lap. It looks like he'll be doing as Nate leads on this battle, and still some praising gets out of the way as well. So just going back through the order to find Plums. Here he is at 5 seconds out in P2, but a good 8.6 seconds ahead of P3. Bubbling Panda still behind Grandpa Exposure, so the pace differential there negligible between Grandpa Exposure in the Only Gramps color scheme and Bubbling Panda there. 2.2 seconds, a 1:33.7 at this late point of the race is nice enough. And I'm still trying to figure out what that red diagonal line is there. It's like a light strip that's been misplaced on the A pillar of the car on the left hand side as we look at it, kind of driver right across his windshield. So yeah, that's a strange artifact on the car today. Got King running P10 in the 201 with Chaotica out in the GT4 field in 17th place. We've got Camzilla looking at a potential P11. I think he's too far away from Bobcat Goalie, who's going to take his drive through, or a very strict penalty at the end. Elite Rain, we saw him sideways earlier on. I was very early in the chat today as well, in the 422 in 14th position. Then here is Rico in that fastest lap, earning Lexus currently. Anyway, we're going to see if he holds on to that. It's often in the last lap of the race that the front runners decide that there's nothing left to lose. Let's go for the fastest lap. Plaudit. A leader is on the final lap. Let's go and find our leader on that final lap. Just check in. I did just see Waiwait is still sitting very pretty in P1 in the GT4 field. Back to Awesome Gumball then. Let's see how his lap is going to look as he comes through the turn 2 of Curva Duan. I wonder how the Spanish pronounce that, because it's an Australian name, Mick Doohan, the great motorcycle champion, as they come through the double right then and in up towards the west side of the circuit onto the short chute. This is Curva Nieto. He's coming through. As then we'll go through Curvo Afición to the left before then tucking right down. I actually prefer the circuit configuration that doesn't have this very slow section in the middle. You can go straight on instead of turning around that section. That was I think that was debarred, just going very, very wide just to finish out the race. Not in the way of our leaders. Looks like the 164 is going to save a lap as well. That's Hellcat, if I'm not mistaken. Hellcat coming through. And this is Awesome Gumball as he comes in towards the final corner of the race. This has been a very hard fought run on the A strategy, you'd have to say. A tyre change, a little bit of fuel. And Awesome Gumball with a great middle stint straight on those new tyres wins in Valencia. What a great result for Awesome Gumball. He'll take home a great position in the championship battle here as we wait for some of our drivers to come through. In fact, Bobcat Goalie was disqualified in the M's. Plum's taking home second place for really good points in his championship punt. But at the back there, we've got Larry in the pits. We've got Gotkin coming through as we cycle through everybody. Plums has crossed the line to come home in second. Bubbling Panda in third place. And Ruben Rico looks like he's going to take that fastest lap unless Artie, Nate have got anything to say about it. Let's see where they are as they come through. This is Rico to finish out his lap. A 32.002 from Rico. Let's have a look as we come through. Can he go even faster? I doubt it at this stage of the race, but he's going to cross the line and come home in fourth place with the fastest lap. Really, really good run from him as we'll go through. And several drivers quitting out to the pits, so just confusing our race order a little bit. That looks like, I'm trying to get Nate. Here he is in the 189. Nate across the line. Awesome Gumball, no, has not finished in fifth place. Come on now. Beth Barron finishes in fifth, and Nate takes home sixth place. Like I say, Hunter, Bobcat Goalie, with the disqualification for not serving his drive-through penalty. That is a big surprise from one of our league admins, unfortunately, not taking that. But we've got Debuthi in 7th, Grandpa Exposure home in 8th place. Good result for him in the end. Got King in 9th, Camzilla in 10th, getting home in that top 10. Then we've got Darkness Gene, still sun praising, Elite Rain, home in 12th and 13th positions. Waiwait leading and winning the GT4 race ahead of Hellcat, Chaotica and D-Bard. Larry took part for 26 laps, or 13 laps in fact, sorry, but after a big accident and a long pit stop was unable to continue. And Bobcat Goalie, sadly, with the disqualification, looks like Gotkin picked up a plus 32nd as well, penalty at the end of the race. So it was very, very hard fought. Amazing driving from Awesome Gumball. Plums took him to the end there, and Panda was right with him as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's race. As we mentioned earlier on, do hit all the buttons you can on the video today before you leave us. Remember that we'll be here same time, same place next Saturday. That is a date I haven't memorized, but 7 on from today. So the 13th of December, we'll see you for the next and final round of the season here at Black Flag Racing's Premier Division. We will be at Donington Park Raceway in the Midlands of the United Kingdom. And lots more racing action coming on the channel. And of course, if you want to get involved in our daily races, with the exception, I think, of Monday, at Black Flag Racing, do get in touch on the Discord and register and come join us and try your hand out at ACC here with us. I hope you've enjoyed it today. I certainly have, and it's been great to be here with you all live. But thank you if you've spent some time in the intervening weeks watching this back as well. Thanks everybody. Appreciate you all, and we will catch you on the next race day.